Good evening, and thank you everyone for joining us for our webinar Wednesday. And today is powered by Nexa. Okay, it's a layer one blockchain, and we are going to be talking about a particular use case, which is within the gaming sector. And Stephen is one of their developers, and he's going to be taking us through that. He'll introduce himself a little bit better and give you some more context on his background and his role within Nexa. But before we do that, I'm just going to go through a very quick kind of introduction, and then I'm going to hand it over to Stephen. Just a quick disclaimer, all the education that we provide is for education purposes only. We are not providing any financial advice. We recommend that you always do your own research, especially when speculating with digital assets. And our content is always recorded, and then we make it available in the Education Hub. So now that we've got those kind of logistics out of the way, if we haven't had a chance to meet, my name is Danielle Marie. I'm the founder of Evolver, which is an education and mentorship platform specifically designed to support women. And then All Things Blockchain, which is the nonprofit organization that I founded back in 2020. And we host monthly educational networking events for the over past 5 years. And I've been a crypto and blockchain educator for over 5 years. Love to connect with you if we have not already connected. The next webinar that we have coming up, we will be hearing from Andrew Clifford, who is the president of Bitcoin Unlimited, which is the company behind Nexa. And he will be kind of taking us down, rethinking kind of proof of work and really kind of understanding Nexa's architecture and taking us on a bit of a deeper dive there. So please make sure that you join us on July 1st for that webinar. As I mentioned previously, we have the Education Hub. If you're not already signed up, you can go ahead and scan that QR code. I'll also share a link in the chat in just a moment. 100% free and is completely powered by our amazing sponsors, which Nexa is one of them. Stand with Crypto, Digital Surge, and Ethical Finance. And there's short courses in there. The Nexa Basics course is coming. And then we're also working on a specific course that will be specifically designed for those of you that are interested in more of the development and the technical side of things. So stay tuned. That will be available for you in the Education Hub soon. That's it for me. I wanted to keep it nice and short and brief, and I'm going to hand it over to our amazing guest speaker, Stephen, who's got an amazing presentation prepared for you, and then also going to be jumping in and doing a live demo. So, Stephen, thank you so much for your time, and
Thank you.
I'm just going to hand it over to you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Danielle. What I'll do is I'll just share my screen. Hopefully this comes up okay. Just confirm you can see my screen.
We're good to go.
Should be, now I actually can't, okay, I can't see what you're seeing. Okay, so you're definitely seeing the slide,
Yep.
the next slide and
Yep, you're
not
good
my
to go.
notes. All right, cool. All right. So thank you once again for that intro. My name's Stephen Vanden Maraca. I am the Senior Development Consultant and Solution Architect with Bitcoin Unlimited. So my role here with Bitcoin Unlimited is to help bring use cases to the Nexa blockchain. So a big part of my role is to help nurture these projects, work with our amazing team, and help bring more use cases to the Nexa network. So the topic for today's talk is the Nexa blockchain and gaming. And I'll just step through. And so basically, I wanted to start by talking about what this talk was not about. So blockchain isn't really going, in our opinion, in my opinion, it's not really going to revolutionize gaming. You can't just bolt blockchain onto something and say, hey, we've just made it better. Because, studios are thriving at the moment. Like gaming is in a really great state at the moment. If you look at, recently released Switch 2, there's a big trend at the moment moving towards you're really renting your games, you're not really owning them. If you look at the Steam platform, when you're purchasing something, you're purchasing a license to play the game. and that license can be revoked. Or with the Switch 2, I recently purchased a game, and the little key card that's normally the memory card that has the game on it was actually it's just the license key. It was just a key to unlock the game. And look, I don't kind of agree with that approach. I think I'm from a generation where we bought our games physically, and we I still have them all, and we're very much moving to a digital only license. Uh, so while blockchain could address that in terms of ownership and licenses, it's not something that's going to change anytime soon. Studios are thriving, they're doing really well, and they really have no reason to change to another model unless there's something enticing, unless there's a real reason. And that's something I'll talk about further in the talk. Also, if you look at community engagement with gaming at the moment, it is also really, really strong. Like you look at platforms like City Skylines, and there are thousands of people building mods. The best mods get promoted, they end up on Steam, they become officially supported. So there's a real ecosystem in gaming that's doing quite well. So this talk isn't really about disrupting that at all, but it's about looking at, okay, well, does blockchain even make sense? Um, so the way we answer that question is you, like I sort of touched on before, you don't just implement blockchain for the sake of it. Like you can't just put the word blockchain onto something and say, well, yeah, we made it better. You really have to look at a problem and look at the benefits of what blockchain can bring, and then determine how that best solves a specific problem or unlocks something new. Um, so to do that, you've really got to understand and look at what blockchain actually brings. And blockchain, what are the key sort of pillars of blockchain is that it's distributed. So there's no central server, there's no way that can be turned off. Like blockchain it runs on a number of nodes. The Nexa network runs on hundreds of nodes around the world, and there's no way to switch that off. A node comes online, a node goes offline, the whole network is strong. And the ledger lives on those nodes, is validated on those nodes, and is maintained by that network. So there's no single point of failure. So that's a massive benefit that it brings. Another one is that it's trustless. There's no middleman that's authorizing things to happen. Like the network itself maintains the rules. So two complete strangers on opposite sides of the world can interact in a transaction, whether that's transferring currency or buying an asset. They can do that in a trustless, without a middleman that they have to trust to approve the transaction. And if you think about paying with your credit card or tapping your phone, you tap your phone and it pops up and it says that the transaction was approved. And that's because the bank approved your transaction, said that yes, you are allowed to do this. And they could equally say no, you are not allowed to do this. And that's the benefit that blockchain brings in that space, in that it's distributed and trustless. You don't need that middleman. And the third main pillar of blockchain is that it's immutable. So once something is written once, it cannot be changed, and it can be proven that it has not changed. So it's there's no way to go back. For example, if I wanted to go back on the ledger 5 years ago and say I bought 1,000 Bitcoin, there's no possible way that can happen. That the ledger is secure, it's maintained by that whole network, and you can't change it without more than the computing power of the entire planet. So it's just not practical to do. So when you put those three things together, what you really have, and I'm kind of stealing this a little bit from Andrew Stone, our head developer, is that the blockchain really is a language of ownership, in that it's a permanent record of I own something, I purchased something, and I have the ability to transfer that ownership to somebody else. They have the ability to transfer that ownership onto somebody else, all in that distributed, trustless, and provable environment. So it really does codify true ownership. And that's why it's a perfect fit for currencies. It's a perfect fit for tokenized assets to take an asset and fractionalize it and sell the tokens that correspond to that asset as a way of trading an asset. And also obviously that the peer-to-peer trading that comes with blockchain. So how does that contrast with gaming? So if you look at gaming and let's say we look at a game like Pokemon Go. So Pokemon Go, it's been quite a few years. It's been released. I remember when it first came out, and I'd left work one night and I drove past a corner, and there was like 30 or 40 people standing in the dark on this street corner with their phones. And I thought, like, what's going on? And then I realized it was like a Pokemon gym that was in that physical location, and there was some rare Pokemon that was they could try and capture, and everybody was there cooperatively trying to defeat this Pokemon and get a copy of it, capture it. That asset, they and it kind of goes to the whole psychology of gaming is and life in a bigger sense that you invest your time and you invest your effort in order to achieve some sort of reward. And that reward, and these games get that balance really right. If it's too hard to achieve anything, then you give up. If it's too easy, then the reward's not meaningful. So there's a real balance of the effort that you put in to perform the tasks to get the reward. Um, but that reward on most of current gaming, that reward really just exists in the game. There's really nothing that can be taken away from the game. That reward or that achievement that you got, that sword that you upgraded through hours and hours of effort, those Pokemon that you captured, all exist within the game on closed infrastructure, where there's really nothing that you can do beyond what you're permitted to do. And that comes without true ownership. So the new idea that I'm going to touch on through the talk is not just that you can bring blockchain in order to put these achievements and assets and things on chain. Like that's a pretty easy step. There's not really anything different in that. Um, but what we think and what we're doing with a game, I'll take you through a demo later on of a game that we're working on, is if you couple that with a true ownership license. So basically saying, okay, you have a license to this asset. You truly do own this asset, both in the game and outside the game, where you can build additional experiences or implement those assets into your own games, if you're a game developer, or into different add-ons for other games. That ability for an asset to actually go from being locked inside a game that's very controlled to actually breaking it out and having it as something that can exist independent of the game. And that's kind of a newish concept that we've been exploring with the game that we're developing, and we'll give you a bit of a demo of that later on. Before I touch on that, I really want to step into why we built Nexa. Like why does Nexa exist? Why is there just another blockchain? There's thousands of them. So Bitcoin Unlimited is the team behind Nexa. And basically, if you think back at the original Bitcoin white paper and the Satoshi white paper, the promise always was that Bitcoin was a peer-to-peer cash system, a peer-to-peer cash network. And as it grew, one of the things and we felt very strongly about that from the start. But as it grew, the protocol kind of didn't scale the way we believed it should. So if you look at Bitcoin currently, 7 transactions a second, it isn't enough to fulfill the needs of a global economy that wants to use Bitcoin. But the fundamental architecture that it was built on, the UTXO model that Bitcoin is built on, the emission schedule of the 4-year halving cycle, the tokenomics are all fantastic. it's just that next step, that ability to scale and actually bring it through to global adoption as a peer-to-peer cash network hasn't been fully achieved. And basically, what's happened instead is a lot of the shortcomings in the original implementation, rather than have the protocol get improved, a lot of that was carved off to third parties to solve. So, like Bitcoin's still 7 transactions a second because the Lightning Network exists to solve that problem. And we fundamentally believe that you didn't need to do that on a different network. That all of that scaling, all of the power was available back at the original Bitcoin implementation if it was just further improved and enhanced to actually truly innovate on that original platform. Um, so what you see with Bitcoin is that kind of the narratives change over time. Like it was originally peer-to-peer cash, and then it started to get talked about more as, well, it's a store of value. Like you buy it, you don't transact with it every day, but you buy it and you hold it. Um, and then the sort of narratives around a hedge against inflation. It can't be inflated. It has the fixed supply, but currencies can be inflated. Governments can issue more money whenever they feel like it and whenever they need it. And then kind of the narrative moved on to, well, it's digital gold. And all of these things are explanations for where Bitcoin is at, and kind of explanations that are papering over what we think is the underlying issue. And the underlying issue is that the technology never was fully innovated to its full potential. Um, so it's sorry, just a sec. My screen just played up for a moment. There we go. I've got it back. So those were all like, they're not evolutions of Bitcoin. They were just explanations for the limitations. So we took a completely different view, and we've been very passionate about this, that the underlying layer one UTXO model could absolutely be scaled to achieve the original peer-to-peer cash vision, but you know everything that all of the other blockchains have tried to also implement could all have been done on that underlying Bitcoin uh, technology. So sound money, peer-to-peer cash, global settlement layer, and even the foundation for like emerging economic models like AI and AI microtransactions could absolutely happen directly through more innovation. And that's what we've worked on. And that's what the result of that conviction is Nexa and what we've built with Nexa. So what we've kept building and working with Nexa, and I like to actually think of Nexa as so Bitcoin version one was Bitcoin. Version two was kind of Bitcoin Cash, where some of the scaling started to be implemented. But version three really is Nexa. Nexa is, in my opinion, Bitcoin version three. Where Bitcoin really should be now is what we've implemented in the Nexa network. So same UTXO model as Bitcoin, same tokenomics, but with super high throughput, 60,000 transactions a second plus compared to 7. Near zero fees, which is super important for high frequency, low value transactions, like those you'll get with AI microtransactions. And all of this with a fair launch, proof of work network, and those same halving cycles. All right, so, and I've kind of touched on this already. What the Nexa network delivers is that speed and scale, near zero fees, a fraction of a cent. We have native tokens on the network, so the ability to, there's the Nexa token, but you can mint and launch another token that is part of consensus and actually is transacted on the network the same way as the core underlying currency. It's programmable with smart contracts. So the previous session a month ago was a talk about smart contracts. And something else that's a bit unique to the Nexa network are these open outcry partial transactions. So somebody on Nexa can say, I have A and I'd like B, and this is what I'm going to pay for B. They can sign that partial transaction, publish it to the network, and someone at some point could pick that up and go, well, I have B and I actually want A, and that's a fair transaction. I will sign the other half of it uh, and execute the transaction. So we've got some really, really great tech on the network. What does that mean for gaming? Well, anything that can be implemented in um, the real world and in a real world economy can be implemented in an in-game economy. And in-game economies aren't new. So if you look, it's been 25 years roughly since, say, Second Life was released. It had its own currency. I think it's still alive now as a game, and it has currency convertible to USD. EVE Online had a massive, really detailed economies within that game, even to the point that it was kind of studied for sort of human behavior and economic models and how they evolve. World of Warcrafts had in real world sort of markets appear inside the auction house. Elder Scrolls has trading hubs. Like in-game economies are not a new thing, but anything. That's my slides. Those two slides are the wrong way around. Sorry about that. So blockchain can provide the infrastructure for an in-game economy. And Nexa is the perfect blockchain for providing an in-game economy. Any of those things those games had to build could easily have been built on Nexa. But that's that's not adding anything new. That's not anything innovative or new or opening up any sort of new dimension. So that's why the ability to facilitate out of game experiences, take those assets, like I mentioned earlier, that you've worked hard for, you've made certain levels of achievement, you've got that asset, you've got that sword, now being able to take that and actually use it outside of the game. So currently, that's not possible because gaming assets at the moment live on the server of the game, like I touched on earlier. Their properties, their availability, whether they can be transferred or not, whether there's a marketplace, all of this exists limited to the infrastructure of the game itself. Um, and those game developers and game publishers can modify or remove those assets, can discontinue an asset, all really uh, without the players even really knowing about it. Like these things can change over time, and that's because you have a license to use the game. You have a license to access that asset or that achievement, and that can be taken away. So blockchain really does offer a different model in that by minting assets on chain, by having the currency, the game currency on chain, then that's written in a place obviously that's distributed and immutable and trustless, like it's on a global network. Those assets then actually live in your wallet. They don't live inside the game. They're accessed by the game, they're used by the game, they're issued by the game, but they live in your wallet, and you have a license to then build around those assets. You have a license to, if you wanted to build an add-on game, a battling arena, a different trading model, if you wanted some sort of swap mechanism, you could actually build that entirely outside the game without requiring the permission of the gaming developer. And that's kind of the thing that blockchain does unlock, and that's what makes it different. And that really means what happens outside of the confines of the game can is entirely up to you and is up to the community of what experiences they want to build around these assets. So yeah, so the concept is that they actually allows blockchain. The thing that is different is that it actually allows assets to flow out from a game, and assets to flow in from other games or other experiences if the developer wants to support those assets. So that unlocks really true ownership of those assets that you worked for, those achievements that you have, those rewards that you got. You actually do own them under a model like this. Uh, when it's on an open ecosystem, people can build on it. They can build tournaments around it, other trading tools, companion apps, all without asking permission. And it would allow things like cross-game portability. So, for example, Nexa Warriors, the game we're working on, if you reach a certain level and get a certain card, well, there's no reason why that card couldn't be included in a mod or be supported in a mod that a community member builds in a whole other experience. Maybe that card gets used in some sort of champion tournament game, in addition to being supported in Nexa Warriors. And we kind of think with the concept that this, um, at first thought, you think, okay, well, is that actually taking away from the game? Is that diluting it at all? But it actually builds more demand, because if those assets are popular and those assets become popular outside of the original game, then there's more demand for those assets. And so, therefore, the only way you can get them is back in that original game. So, we think it kind of strikes a new balance of being able to build a bit of a deeper community by extending that, by modding, rather than just having to mod a game and work within the confines of a game, you can actually build more of a deeper community and ecosystem around those assets. So that's kind of the concept that we've been working on. Um, One of the many projects that we have on the go at the moment. And look, will it be successful? Actually, before I slide there, will it be a successful model? Only time will tell. Like with any of these sort of new ideas, you have to give it a go. You have to try and really see if you can make a success out of it. So that's what we're doing, and we're doing that with our Next Warriors game. So I'm just going to jump in to Next Warriors. Uh, so I'm going to give you a bit of an early demo of what we've been building. It's a card trading game, electronic card trading game, where there's 165 cards that we've designed, and every card's minted as an NFT. There's different card rarities. They're obtained through starter decks and booster packs, and they can be openly traded. So how the game actually works, it's a turn-based card battling game. It's built natively on the Nexa network. So we have warrior cards and equip cards that can modify the outcome of battles. And like I said, there's 165 cards, and all of them are minted on chain. 6 different rarity tiers, and it's all enforced at the minting level. And you purchase the starter decks and booster packs, but you can also win cards. You can purchase them on an open market, and you can also get them as rewards through gameplay. And with this, it's all tied into your wallet. So Wally Wallet has an identity feature where that becomes your identity. So you scan the game with your wallet, and that accesses your cards, and you enter into the game and into the lobby to start playing. Now, what the game is using from the Nexa network is it's using obviously NFTs for the card assets themselves. We're using tokens as well on the network, so you can earn shards, and shards can be used to basically take one of your existing lower tier cards and burn that with a number of shards to produce a higher tier card. We're using smart contracts we're locking cards into a game. So when two players, so you can play against AI or you can play against another player. When there's two players, that locks your cards into a contract, and the winner, there's actually real skin in the game. The winner gets one of the opponent cards. But to make sure you don't lose your prized possession and your best card, we've got an ability to sort of lock sort of the top. You play with 32 cards. We can lock 8 of those out from being at risk if you lose the game. And the proceeds from any of the sales of the booster packs or the starter decks goes to help Bitcoin Unlimited. We're a not-for-profit, So it goes towards our funding of further development of the network and further innovation on blockchain and on UTXO. So before I jump on how to get involved, I will just pop up the game and I'll take you through. All right, just a second. So I'll take you first into, hopefully you can see that.
Yes,
Yep.
I can see
Yep.
3 cards.
Yep. Fantastic. So this is the Nexa Warriors marketplace. So these 3 cards are actually for sale right now. So I can click on these cards, and these are for sale. I could buy those and trade that on the network. Somebody's selling this. This is all currently only on our testnet network. So this is not these ones don't have value. This is just on testnet. These will be brought across to mainnet when we officially launch. So we have a marketplace, the ability to place your cards up for sale if you've got duplicates. There's the full codex of all of the cards is here. So we have implemented the 165 cards. We've done all the designs on these cards. Every card has a rarity level. So here, this is a common card. The class is a peasant, has an attack value, has defense. 15 have been minted through testing, and there is one for sale, which was the one we were on before. Let me just jump back in here. And as I skip through, you can see there's different attack and defense. The maximum attack's 2,000, maximum defense is 2,000 as well. So there's low tier cards, and then as you step through, the rarities change. It's actually a little slow today, unfortunately. I have been having some internet issues, so I was hoping that that was resolved by now. Now let me just jump to something that's a bit more rare. So for example, here, attack boost of 1,000, like that's a very valuable card to have. It's very hard to get that within the game. If you have it, you've got a massive attack boost that you can play during one of your turns. What you can also do is see the cards that you own. So I can take my wallet, and you can see here, let me just pop this up as well. You can see here in Wally Wallet, the cards are appearing here across the top, all the cards that I own. So I can scan that QR code and it's requesting my assets. I can accept and send that. Let's get that out of the way. And then it's loading my assets up into the marketplace where I could then choose to sell them. I could then purchase other assets as well. What it's doing here as it's ticking over is it's found 80 cards, it's found 90 cards. It's actually validating on chain as well that you really do own those cards. So it's not just taking the wallet on face value to say, hey, here are all my assets. It's actually validating on chain that I do own those assets, that they're not copies or somehow I've sent somebody else's assets. It's able to validate that on chain. And then I can take, let's see, something I've got some duplicates of. Yeah, I've got 5 of defense boost 100. I can take this card. I can list it for sale. I can specify an amount. Yeah, 100,000 Nexa. List it for sale. Authorize that partial transaction. Accept that in my wallet. And then that's sitting out there now as an offer. So if I was to go back to the marketplace, you see they'll take out the search from earlier. There's an extra card there now. I'm selling my defense boost 100. So these are all initially obtained in the store. So there's the starter decks and the booster packs, and yeah, they can be purchased here in the store. And then once you have those in your wallet, the Play Now up here lets you play the game. Now it's also going to, at this point, the two will be connected in future. It's going to also request now my assets. So I'll scan to connect. So I'll provide my identity. It's then going to prompt me to send my assets. I'll accept that. And then it's loading up the assets. So again, the game is validating that I do in fact own those assets. Um, at the moment, this is still in development. So this is all in the back ends in debug mode. So it's taking lots of logs and yeah, it's not tuned to be as fast as possible at the moment because it's something that we're still finalizing. All right. So while that ticks along,
I'll ask a question while
yeah,
we're
go for it.
moving along. Can people, I know this is on testnet, but can people play with it on testnet or is it's not open testnet?
The network, it's not the network is open. So yes, somebody could. We're not really inviting at this stage anyone into testnet. Things are, we're actively implementing updates and changes. So it's not something we encourage anybody to get into right now. We'll announce on all of our socials when if we're going to open up a beta testing program, and we'll definitely be there'll be a lot of promotion before it goes live. All right. So I've just jumped in. So this is showing me like my number of wins, number of losses, and there's three game modes supported from the start. A free sort of trial where you can play without owning any cards. You can challenge another player into like a two-player game, or you can play against AI. Um, in here, when you're playing, you build your deck. So like I had those 200 cards. So if I go into the deck builder, I've chosen a couple of different decks that I've built, which is you play with 32 cards. So 16 warriors, 16 equips. When I choose that, I can go through all the cards that I own and add them into the deck. And you can see down the side, I've added my 16 warriors, my 16 equips, and I've got the ability to lock out the ones that I don't want to lose if I play a two-player game. So I'm not going to jump into a two-player game, so I don't need to specify that at the moment. But if I take my second deck here and I can start a battle against AI. So it's turn-based. So you start by rolling a dice. Uh, so I think the AI got a 3, I got a 2. So I'm going to go second. We're still working on some of the animations. So these are still initial animations. This is all intended to still be improved as we get closer to launch. So you take it in turns. So I was attacked from the front row on the opponent can attack your front row only, and you attack from your front row to them. When you're attacked, you can select an equip card to either like add some defense or reverse the statistics. There's all different equip cards that may affect the outcome of the battle. Um, in this case, this is quite a strong attack. An 1800 attack is actually attacking my 1300 defense. So I'm actually going to lose this if I don't. I'm going to play a defense boost on that card. So that's going to modify. Oh, and the AI decided to play an attack boost. So that has just nullified. I just lost one of the better cards. There we go. Okay. So once you lose a card off the front row, you have to promote something from your second row. So the way it works is you've got your 16 cards in your warrior deck. 5 of them come out. As they're defeated, they go off to the graveyard. And your 16 equip cards sit in the equip deck. You start with 3 and you draw a new equip card every turn. So right now I've just got another attack boost, which is a good card. And I can then choose, do I want to play one of these or not? I don't want to play an attack boost at the moment. I think I can win without it. So I'll skip that. I'll save those for later. I'll play this. king. I think it's one of the king cards. It's got a 1450 attack, and I'll attack this card's got a 750 defense. So it's attack versus defense. Now, the AI has played another card with stand. Okay, so what that's going to do is they've just protected that card from being defeated. I have no way to counter that move. So again, I'm going to attack. They're going to defend that attack. And these animations are all initial animations. We're still tuning it and improving them. And they're now attacking me. And I don't have enough to defend that. Oh, I do. So what I'll do, I've got a stat reverse card. So I'm going to play stat reverse, and I'm actually going to reverse the attacker's statistics. So instead of them attacking with 1800, they're now attacking with 750. So I'll be able to survive that. And if you survive an attack and it's a stronger card, it can attack back um, if it's going to win. So yeah, so basically the point of the game is that you go backwards and forwards, trying to defeat all of the 16 cards of your opponent. I will draw, start on my turn. It's an all in. I'm going to play that. So what all in is going to do, it's basically attacking all cards against all cards. It's added the sum of all the attacks and the sum of all the defenses. So I've got an attack now of 5,800. Their defense is 4,050. I will actually win that attack. I can't see how the AI is going to defend against that. It hasn't. So what's happened in one turn, and there's a slight issue there. It's just highlighted the wrong card. Uh, it defeated all 5 of their cards at once and sent them all to the graveyard. So that was quite a strong attack. But yeah, so basically you go backwards and forwards. We've tried to get the balance right in, there's a lot, it's easy to get the lower tier cards. It's much harder to get the stronger ones. And you can come from a winning position and be defeated. You can be in a seemingly losing position and then still be able to win. So we've really worked hard on trying to get that balance right and really showcase, you know, what can be done with NFTs, what can be done with tokens, what can be done with smart contracts. But all of this is not just for in-game use. The license that we're providing with those NFTs are licenses that allow people to build other experiences around them. So if you have them in your wallet uh, and you've got an idea for a game to use it, you can actually build that game to use it and launch that game to use that asset if that's what you want to do. We kind of encouraging add-ons and new ideas and the community around it to actually use those assets in new and interesting ways. So yeah, that's kind of been the purpose of the talk has been really about you can't just add blockchain because it's something you like or you enjoy. It really has to bring something different. It needs to improve what's already there or provide a new innovative angle or a new way to do things. So if you're looking to get involved, so you can obviously follow us on X, join our Discord, and a lot of the things that you need to know around, how to mint NFTs, how to create tokens, how to interact with Wally Wallet, all of that material is becoming available in our Build on Nexa program. So you can get that online. You can access all of that material and actually step through how to actually build on our blockchain so that you can interface with these assets. So yeah, I that's Nexa Warriors.
Thank you so much for that presentation. For anybody that has any questions, please make sure put them in the chat or put up your hand. I forgot to mention that at the start. But I always have a couple of questions, so I'll
Sure.
kickstart it. you can just go ahead and stop sharing your screen. I'm going to share the links. I've already shared the Nexa X link in case people aren't already following that. And I'll also share the website link in there just quite quickly. Um, but what I really loved is how you kind of started off about kind of highlighting that blockchain is just not this magical bullet, which I think for quite a few years, people really kind of just thought blockchain was this magical thing that was going to fix all the business solutions and it was going to be a game changer. And I'm not a gamer, but I have been exposed just through hosting events. We actually hosted Game by Unleashed with you guys last year, and I was exposed to another project. So at a very high level, I've been exposed to the industry. And one of the narratives a few years ago, in which where I'm going with this question, is that the like if we want to call it the Web 2 gaming kind of community just really was not interested at all. They just kind of heard crypto and they just kind of like didn't like it. They kind of thought scams or whatever. They didn't really actually take the time to understand the power of kind of like the technology, and not that it's there to kind of change the game, but just add value. So I guess my question is to you, have you seen any type of narrative or type of shift in their thinking of just, implementing blockchain for simple kind of solutions such as Nexa has done in this particular use case?
I think it kind of goes with the state of the market overall. So attitudes shift when we're in a bull market and everything's flying, and then as things start to cool off, attitudes tend to go back to where they were. Um, I think the key to it is really understanding the technology and then finding how it can be used to actually improve something. You can't just deliver like I sort of had in the talk. Um, there's economies in gaming now. There's in-game economies. You can't just say, "Oh, I'll put it on blockchain." Well, that it's exactly the same. It's still going to be an in-game economy. You've got to look at how can we make it different? How is it going to be better? How is it going to actually be improved? And unless you've got that key of what it's going to improve and you can communicate that, then yeah, it's very difficult to to launch something that just won't get attention if it's not doing something new or innovative or different. And that's really the same, not just in gaming. Like if you're looking at in the business world, oh, well, we could use blockchain for this. Well, it has to make things better. It has to make it easier. It has to make it more cost effective for people. And unless it doesn't tick these boxes, then it's not really going to be successful.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And would you say this particular game, like the Next Warriors, is this designed, for more Web3 native people compared to, or what would people in the Web 2 kind of ecosystem play this game and not
No.
even really need to fully understand the mechanics of like what a wallet and tokens are? Like, is it going to be,
Yeah.
easy for anybody just to kind of play, and not really need to understand all of the mechanics behind it?
Yeah. Look, a lot of the aspects of the game, a lot of people will find very familiar. There are other trading card games out there, both physical and online. Um, so a lot of those mechanics are well known in Web 2. In terms of Web 3, yes, the only difference is, yeah, you need to get a wallet. You need to fund that wallet.
Hmm.
And then you can purchase the cards just like you would purchase them in a store. You purchase them with your wallet. So and then it gives you access into the game. You can play the game with those assets. Um, we kind of see it as a onboarding path to bring people into the space
Hmm.
that if we provide those steps and make that as easy as possible, then sure, definitely someone that's Web 2 could be the first time they've installed a wallet. It could be the first time they've funded it and made a crypto transaction. But if it's all as easy as possible, then yeah, it should be a really great way to onboard people.
I think it's a great way to learn it. If you make it easy to onboard, being an educator who specializes in teaching beginners, if you make it easy, the UX experience for them, and then also low barrier to entry where it doesn't necessarily have to like cost a lot of money to get in
Yeah.
and play and get comfortable, then yeah, definitely, I think people are open to learning. But the tech's definitely come a long way. But I remember years when I was, getting involved, and you had to learn so many different things and try to connect things, and it's gotten way better now.
Yeah.
It's not as clunky, and it's a lot easier for people that just want to come and play the game, and
Yeah.
they don't want to have all these barriers to just being like, oh, what's a wallet and what are my seed phrases and all
Yeah,
of that.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And look, and that's why we've also got the free game model in that you can install a wallet, not fund it, not buy any NFTs, and scan it to access the game and get some free games in there first. So it
mm,
it will randomly generate your assets for you and randomly generate the opponent. But yeah, it gives you a chance to have a few games and rounds, and hopefully it's interesting enough that you then, okay, I might buy a deck. I'll follow those next steps and actually get my own cards. I might buy
mhm,
some. I might not get a deck at all. I might just trade them in the open marketplace and buy a few of
mhm.
those and then play with those cards. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the whole goal of the game, is to showcase what we're doing with Nexa and the Nexa network, and then try and make it as easy as possible to onboard people.
Perfect. Well, I love it. I'm all about helping people learn and onboard. So I look forward to the bond program when I know that you and your team are working on that, for those people that are interested in more of learning how to build and develop on the network. Definitely won't be me, but I will definitely be driving people to learn about it. I'm more the front end kind of girl. But thank you so much, Stephen, for your time. Thank you for taking us through that amazing demo. Everybody stay tuned for some updates, I guess, when the launch. Do you have a rough date? Can you give us any alpha? Like when are you guys looking roughly? End of
So
the year, maybe?
next, oh no, definitely this year. Yeah, definitely this
Okay,
year.
definitely this
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But
and
that's
hopefully within a few months.
okay.
And I
Okay.
challenge you to a game. I challenge you. We will jump on a two-player game. I'll step you through it. It's not going to be that hard.
It will be like just
And
like when I'm playing poker, I'll have no idea what I'm doing and I'm just gonna like wing it.
well, I was getting beaten then, and it was the AI was like outmaneuvering me. So
Okay. Well, maybe I'll
you'll
have
be right.
beginner's luck, but yeah,
Exactly.
I'm more of the cheerleader on the side than the actual
No,
game.
no, it's
But
a challenge. It's a challenge. We'll do
all
it.
right.
We should record it. It'll
Okay,
be
well,
fun.
maybe we can do a little tournament. Actually, that would be a fun learning way. Actually, that's a really fun idea. When the game's ready, we could do like a learning education tournament. I think that's really
Sounds
fun.
good.
We've never done that. So let's keep that one in the memory bank. But thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you missed the first half and you want to catch it, the recording will be in the Education Hub. Once again, thank you, Stephen. And remember to join us on July 1st, where we'll be hearing from Andrew Clifford, the president of Bitcoin Unlimited, who will be taking us deeper and diving into the Nexa architecture and essentially how you guys are just doing everything better, and your roadmap and where you guys are going. So make sure you join us then. Other than that, thank you so much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your evening.